Hey Ravens fans, we want to continue to get you ready for the draft this week by looking at some different scenarios for the Ravens. We'll look at the best case and the worst case scenarios for the Ravens when they come on the board at number 6. Ryan Mink, John Eisenberg, Sarah Ellison. Sarah, let's start with you. Best case scenario, what's going to have you jumping for joy if this is the scenario that's on the board?
You see this, Garrett? This is what you call a prayer hand emoji, okay? Use this on Twitter. I think that the best case would be Ramsey falling to number 6. Where Bosa, Jack, and Tunsil are all taken. So you got your defensive back, and I'm going to go beyond the first round. When you have that, would love to see Spence, outside linebacker, fall to the second round. You all know I went to the Senior Bowl, saw that, and I cannot get images of him dominating against the best.
You fell in love with Noah Spence at the Senior Bowl.
I fell in love with him then. I'm still in love. People started saying that he was going to move up to the first round. I don't think so. I think he could still go late first round, second round. And then let me just throw this out here. 4th round, it would not shock me if the Ravens drafted the offensive tackle of the future. Do you know what I'm saying?
I love that you're looking forward to the 4th round,
I'm going
man.
all the way. I mean, you think about
my ideal 7th round pick.
Let me just put this out there. Rick Wagner, 5th round pick, starting right tackle. Marshall Yonda, 3rd round Pro Bowler. And last year, 8 games left tackle. James Hurst, an undrafted free agent. The Ravens could absolutely find one in the 4th round.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I like that you're looking so far ahead, but I'll stick with just the 1st round pick at number 6. And I'll say the best case scenario is if the Ravens can get one of their top 4 elite defenders at a later pick than number 6. If there's a trade-up scenario with the Browns or the 49ers moving into that pick, the Ravens can move back just 1 or 2 spots, pick up an extra 3rd round pick, and still get their guy. Now that's sweet to me.
What about this possibility? So we have the 2 quarterbacks going with the first 2 picks, obviously. Now, what if you see this? Laramie Tunsil goes to the Chargers, then say the Cowboys take Zeke Elliott, and then say Jacksonville takes Forrest Buckner, okay? So then you're sitting there at pick number 6, and you have Miles Jack, Joey Bosa, Jalen Ramsey, all on the board.
Trade back.
What about that possibility?
That is when you could trade back. That would be, however, let's just call it a little draft miracle if that happened. I'm not sure that's happening.
Is this best scenario or dream scenario?
Yeah, dream scenario or, Christmas time scenario. But I agree with Sarah. I think if somehow, and I don't think it's going to happen, but if Jalen Ramsey is sitting there and you're a Ravens team that's had secondary issues, I mean, 20 seconds to run to that podium and name that pick. That's unbelievable.
What about the flip side? What's the worst case scenario? Something that, I mean, it used to be a couple weeks ago we were saying if no quarterbacks go. Obviously that's not going to be the case with the 2 trades in front of them. But what's the worst case scenario now?
I think there's a lot of scenarios, and I think that actually they're all good. So you have to understand.
There is no bad scenario.
There is no bad scenario. I think the worst case scenario is going to happen. And I think it's going to be Miles Jack and DeForest Buckner sitting there. And to me, that's the worst, and it's a great scenario. But I think it's the worst scenario because I'd love some of the, those other guys.
Yeah, I agree. I think Miles Jack being there, while I am very intrigued by him, I love him as a player, could be a bad scenario only if the Ravens doctors think he has a problem. So
with the knee.
With the knee.
Right.
If he has a knee problem, then yeah, that's not a good scenario. And so I see him, and maybe if Tunsil is there, I see that as the worst case scenario only because Tunsil, in terms of positions of need, comes at the very bottom, I think, of the list of all these elite prospects. You don't really need for this season a left tackle when you have Eugene Monroe. But you could use him for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Going beyond the 1st round again.
5th round possibilities here.
To me, here's what's bad: is the board falls for offensive players like Tunsil, and then it continues, and you don't get a corner in the first 3 rounds. Meantime, Pittsburgh picks up a corner that you wanted, and the Bengals pick up Josh Doxson. And now you've got to find a way to stop A.J. Green and Josh Doxson, and you don't have a blue chip corner. That, to me, worst case scenario.
All right, so we're going to hope that doesn't happen. All right, so that does it for us today. But those are some possible scenarios. We're going to play out all these possible scenarios over the next couple of days in our heads leading up to the draft. And for everything on draft night, you know that this is the place to be.